Tamlane. Long, long ago, fair Janet lived in her father's castle. He was Earl of March and a great lord. In the tower of the castle she and the other maidens would sit sewing their silken seams. But fair Janet kept raising her eyes from her sewing and looking out of the window. What she saw were the trees of Caedmon forest, but the maidens of the castle had been forbidden to go there because this was where the young knights of the court of Elfland came to hunt and to play, and it was said that harm would come to any maid that went there. But at last one day she could bear it no more. She let her sewing slide from her lap, she let her needle fall to the ground, and without a word she was off to the green wood. She had not been long among the trees before she saw a fine horse tied to a tree. It was as white as milk, and it had golden trappings. She went on to the next glade, and had hardly plucked one rose out of all the roses that grew there before a handsome young man upstarted. "Why do you pluck the rose, fair Janet? How dare you break the flower? How dare you come to Caedmon forest without my leave?" "I shall pluck a rose whenever I please," said she, and tossed her head, "and I shall never ask leave of you." When she had answered him so boldly, the young knight laughed and spoke her fair, and he shook the 9 silver bells that hung at his girdle. So all the day Janet and young Tamlane spent dancing in the glades of the forest, and it seemed as if sweet songs and music blew about them, and voices sang among the trees. Fair and twice as fair, and fair as any may be, thy love is fair for thee alone, and for no other lady. My love is fair, my love is gay, as fresh as are the flowers in May. At last fair Janet saw that the sun had sunk low in the sky, and she knew that she must hurry home to her father's castle if she was to be back before she was missed. But her feet went heavily, and as she walked through the great hall of the castle she looked so pale and wan that the 24 ladies that were playing at ball there wondered to see her. "What did you see in the forest, fair Janet," said they, "that you look so wan and pale?" The next day the 24 ladies were playing at chess, and fair Janet, she that used to be the flower among them all, sat drooping and sad. She longed to be in the greenwood again, and could think of nothing but the young knight, and of the sweet singing, and the dancing in the forest. Then there spoke an old grey knight. "Alas," said he, "I doubt it's with the fairies you've been, fair Janet. If your father should hear of this, we shall all be blamed, for no good ever came of going with the fairies." "Hold your tongue, old knight," says she, and as she spoke she wept. "Oh, if my love were an earthly knight, he would be the fairest bridegroom that any maid might wed. The steed on which my true love rides is fleeter than the wind. With silver he is shod before, with burning gold behind." But though she said this boldly, she feared in her heart that the old man spoke true, and that Tamlane might be one of the elf knights. At last, let the danger be what it might, she could bear it no longer. So once more she slipped away to the greenwood, but this time she could see neither horse nor knight. So once more she began to pluck both flowers and leaves, and then at last up he started. Then says she, tell me, Tamlane, were you ever in a holy chapel? Are you a christened soul? Or, as I fear, are you one of the elf knights?" He told her that though indeed he lived at the elf queen's court, he was a christened soul, the son of a knight and a lady. As they sat together, he told her his history. "Roxburgh was my grandfather. He took me with him to bide. And once it fell upon a day as hunting I did ride. There came a wind out of the north, a cold wind and a snell. A dead sleep it came over me, and from my horse I fell. And the Queen of Fairies, she took me in yon green hill to dwell." He told her that Elfland was a sweet and fair country, and that he had great honour in the fairy court. A man might dwell there for ever, Janet, but for one thing. What is that one thing? Asked Janet. Then he told her how he had been near upon 7 years with the fairies, and how he knew that at the end of every 7 years the Queen of Elfland must pay a ransom and a tithe to the foul fiends, and how he feared that this time it was with him they meant to pay, unless some mortal could break the spell and win him back again. Then fair Janet asked how it might be done. He told her that if she dared venture there was no time to lose. He said that on the night of Halloween, which was the very next night, the fairy folk ride abroad. Any maiden who would win back her true love from among the fairy knights must keep vigil for him at Miles Cross. Then said fair Janet, "But how shall I know you in the gloom of midnight? For surely you will be riding among a pack of uncouth knights the like I never saw." Then he told her what she must do. "You must go down to Miles Cross in the deep of the night, and you must fill a cup with holy water, and with the water you must make a circle around you. And this is how you can know me among the others. The fairies will all ride past in companies. To the first company that passes you must say nothing. Let them go. To the second company that passes by say nothing. Let them go likewise. But in the third company I shall be riding. Who first let pass the black lady and then let pass the brown, but quickly run to the milk-white steed and pull his rider down. For some ride on the black lady and some ride on the brown, but I ride on a milk-white steed, a gold star on my crown. Because I was an earthly knight, they gave me that renown. My right hand will be gloved, lady, my left hand will be bare, and that's the tokens I give thee. No doubt I will be there." Then he told her what would happen next. "When you know me, you must take my horse by the bridle and snatch the reins out of my hand. When you let fall the rein, I shall slip down for the horse, and the Queen of Elfland will cry out, 'True Tamlane, stolen awa!' Then, come fair, come foul, you must hold me fast in your arms. First they'll turn me into a newt, then to a snake, but if ever you will have me for your true love again, you must hold fast and never let me go. And then in your arms, lady, they will turn me to a wild deer, but however the deer struggles, you must hold it fast. And then they will turn me into a bar of red-hot iron, but if you love me as you say you do, you must hold fast and not let go, however it burn you. They'll shape me last in your arms, Janet, a mother naked man. Cast your green mantle over me, and so shall I be won." No sooner had he done speaking than Tamlane vanished away, and fair Janet was alone in the forest. But it seemed to her that the unseen voices sang as on the first day, "Fair and twice as fair as any may be, thy love is fair for thee alone, and for no other lady. My love is fair, my love is gay, as fresh as are the flowers in May." Now, as her love had said, the next day was Halloween. So for the third time Janet stole away to the greenwood, and in the deep of the night she was at Miles Cross, and there she made the circle of holy water round her, as her true love had bidden, and then she waited for what might befall. About the dead hour of the night she heard the bridles ring, and Janet was as glad of that as any earthly thing. All came about just as Tamlane had told her. First a company of knights rode by on black horses, and then a company of knights on brown. But when at the head of the third company she saw the milk-white steed, she rushed forward, seized the bridle, and down slipped the rider. Then there rose an unearthly cry, "True Tamlane, stolen awa! True Tamlane, stolen awa!" And now once more all happened exactly as he had told her. Instead of holding her true love in her arms, she found that she was holding a great newt, and then a snake, and then a wild deer. Still she gripped, and still she held. And then she found that in her two hands was a red-hot iron. But burn as it would, hiss as it would, still she gripped and still she held, knowing that only so could she have her heart's desire. They shaped him in her arms at last, a mother naked man. She cast her mantle over him, and so her love she won. And up and spake the Queen of Fairies out of a bush of broom, "She that has borrowed young Tamlane has gotten a fair bridegroom." Out then spake the Queen of the Fairies, and an angry woman was she. "She's taken away the bonniest knight in all my company." "Farewell to you, Tamlane, farewell," the Elf Queen cried again. "But know you this, if I'd known yesterday what I know tonight, I would have taken out your heart of flesh and put in a heart of stone. And if I had known yesterday what I know tonight, I would have taken out your 2 grey eyes and put in eyes of wood. And if I had known yesterday what I know tonight, I would have paid a ransom 7 times to the fiend so that I could have kept you." When she had cried out so, the Elf Queen and all her knights vanished, and fair Janet and Tamlane went back to her father's castle, and there they were married amid great rejoicing.